It was interesting to take a look at the final week of the season as well and watch that TCU versus Kansas State game, as now TCU, they get Michigan. Michigan has went from being a 9.5-point favorite to now being more around a 7.5 to an 8-point favorite. A little bit of movement on the total to about 58.5. Stephanie, we'll start with you on this one. Where do you stand in terms of TCU versus Michigan?
I tell you, this Fiesta Bowl is going to be a good one. You have two teams that really are out for vengeance. Everyone doubted TCU, even after losing the Big 12 championship but going undefeated in the regular season. It was a question mark whether or not they were going to be in the playoff. Meanwhile, Michigan, they finally get their win over Ohio State last year. Now it's time to win a playoff game. So both of these teams are out to pull off an upset, even though Michigan's favored in this one. This one should be closer. I'm a little nervous to take the spread, but I have a pick that I really like. You actually might be surprised by. TCU, they've played well as an underdog against Oklahoma and Texas, but Michigan's defense has really been dominant all season long. They're great against the run, which could pose a challenge for Keandre Miller, but they can be had against the pass. Purdue just put up 366 passing yards against them in that Big Ten championship. Unfortunately for TCU, they have a top 25 passing offense that lights it up with big plays. They're led by a Heisman finalist in Max Duggan, who I actually think is the best quarterback in this playoff. And he just so happens to have one of the nation's top receivers in Quentin Johnston. So Sonny Dykes should be able to come up with a great plan to challenge this Michigan defense and maximize Duggan's arm and his legs. But honestly, for as good as this offense has been, the unsung hero for the Horned Frogs has actually been the defense. Granted, they're ranked 74th in the country. They're not the top tier like Georgia and Michigan, and even Ohio State has a top 10 defense in the playoffs here. But that could be chalked up to a pass-heavy Big 12 conference. While Michigan, they've relied on their rushing game, mainly because it's been unstoppable this season. But Blake Corum actually accounted for over half of the team's rushing yards until he got hurt in that game against Illinois. And then you see Donovan Edwards step up for him big time for 400 yards in the final two games against Ohio State and Purdue. Really testament to Michigan's O-line that's really opening it up for this rushing attack. So TCU's defense, we've seen them step up in big games when their offense has been lacking. Just like that Texas game, they were scoreless in the first half. They had to bail out their offense. Not to mention, they held Bijan Robinson to 29 yards on 12 carries. So they can step up when they need to. We've seen it. Joe Gillespie's 3-3-5 scheme has not been a leader in Havoc, but their ability to stop opponents on third down and in the red zone has been key for them. I think that's what's gotten them to this point in the playoff. They've allowed 30 points just twice since October 15th. They limited Texas and Iowa State to 24 points combined. So for this one, I surprisingly like the over here. That offense on TCU really knows how to light it up. They've surprised a lot of defenses. In Michigan, their offense can light it up as well. And we know how TCU's defense is a bit lacking. So even if they can step up when they need to, I think both of these offenses will be able to put up some points. So I like the over here at 58.5. In fact, that's gone 8 times straight for TCU. They've gone 58 or more combined points, 8 straight games this season. So the other two picks I like Michigan's first half minus 4.5 because TCU is great as a second half team. That's why I'm also taking TCU over 12.5 points in the second half. They've hit that mark every single game this season. That's my lock for this game, TCU over 12.5 points. Well, I don't know who's going to win this one. I think it should be close. I like Michigan to win it all, but TCU, they have that magical it factor, especially under Max Duggan. They're the team to root for, and they're the ones that I really think can shock the world. So let's go TCU. Let's see how this one plays out. I'm really excited for it.
Yep, I think that being able to take a look at how you think these halves are going to be going as well is very interesting.